All right, welcome to this new weekly outlook. Today is the 24th of March, and we're nearing the end of the month with some Easter bank holidays coming up, and really interesting movement on the DXY. But we'll go over that in a minute. First, as always, before going into the charts, let's go to the Forex Factory to go take a look at the red folders. And as you can see, Monday has no red folder. This means Monday is going to be most probably a slow day. So if you have your AMD in mind, your accumulation, manipulation, distribution of the week, anticipate Monday to be a consolidation. And on Tuesday, we have our first red folder, consumer confidence at 10 a.m. and also AOD. Wednesday, we have a red folder in the form of a FOMC member that is speaking at 6 p.m. So this is a red folder, but don't let it weigh too much on your trading. On Thursday, we have some very nice red folders on Canadian GDP, USD, red folders, and here starts the bank holidays. This has to do with the Easter weekend. And on Friday, we have core PCE and Fed Chair Powell that is speaking. So this is your roadmap of the week. From now on Monday, I will be very humble with the trades. And from Tuesday on, we can look for very nice setups. Okay, let's take a look at DXY. DXY, if you have seen the last few outlooks, my bias is still to the downside, to the yearly fair value gap. Right here, you have your fair value gap right here. But there's some nice development going on. I'm going to the daily. And as you can see right here, we had some crazy movement this week on DXY to the upside. So this can mean two things. First one, this is a fake move. And this will create a swing high and it goes lower. Or we will continue taking this volume imbalance, taking this high out, and even going to this consolidation high at 106.75. So it's very interesting. Low-hanging fruit for this week will be this volume imbalance and this relative equal highs. And after that, I'm very curious what we'll see on DXY. Then let's go to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is an interesting pair momentarily because you see this daily price action is not that good. This week I shorted on Monday to the weekly low. Take profit on here, but then it shot up and that was not anticipated. I anticipated lower moves for NQ, but it's still very strong. And if you look at ICT, how it teaches the indices, between April and May, you will see the local top, and at the end of October and November, you will see a low forming that was right here. So for now, my bias will be still higher prices. So low-hanging fruit will be this all-time high, this swing high right here. And below this, you have your fair value gap, also a volume imbalance. So what will be nice is to see or this movement from internal liquidity, fair value gap to external liquidity, a high. Or if we see early in the week, we see price already trade to the all-time high, we want to see a move from external liquidity towards internal liquidity. So from the high to the back to the fair value gap to internal liquidity. I've stated it multiple times during the weekly outlooks. Price does only do two things. One is trade to all high or low, or trade to an imbalance. An imbalance is a fair value gap, a gap, VI, the week opening gap, whatever you want to choose as confluence. And this is external range liquidity, and this is internal range liquidity. So every time you see a move from an external range, or from a high or a low, your next move, your next objective will be where's the internal range liquidity, where's the value gap, and that's right here. So or from internal to external, or from external to internal. So let's see what the market gives us in the early stages of this trading week. With the low-hanging fruit of DXY to the upside, this means AUD USD, Euro USD, and GBP USD will be to the downside because they're inverse correlated. And if you look at Euro USD, we have here some nice movements. It was long-term high. And now it's the question, okay, what is your low-hanging fruit? Low-hanging fruit will be these lows. Also, we have a tiny fair value gap right here. It's very insignificant, but you have it. And if you look at the weekly, there's nothing. If you look at the 4 hour, there are still some imbalances right here, and if DXY is pushing towards the high, then this monthly value gap low and this swing low will be the next target. So how would I trade EURUSD? It depends on how DXY moves. So again, what are your choices? Or from external raise liquidity back to the value gap right here to internal liquidity, or we also can see is a move from internal raise liquidity to external raise liquidity. And this is why most professional traders don't trade on Mondays. They just want to see, okay, which side of the market is going to be taken first, and then they have an easy low-hanging fruit to trade to internal to external or from external to internal. Then in GU, I already shared this in my Telegram. I had a little PTSD with this monthly fair value gap because around Valentine's Day right here, I was shorting the hell out of GU, and I was very certain, even with EURUSD already at the monthly fair value gap, I was like, okay, this is like the most easy trade of the year. Full leverage towards the monthly fair value gap, but it stopped right here and right here. So a little PTSD, but I think finally we're going to get that move down to the monthly value gap. So that will be my target for this week. We have this clear lows resting here, the monthly fair value gap waiting for us. So for example, if you go to the 4 hour or even to the 1 hour, we're going to play the same game from internal to external liquidity, or from external to internal liquidity. So this means if price early in the week on Monday pushes downwards to the monthly value gap, then basically the weekly objective is already being accomplished. So then I will look, okay, do we see a market maker buy model to the upside, to the internal raise liquidity, to look for a significant fair value gap? For example, you have a fair value gap right here, also right here, and you have all this imbalance waiting for you right here with a breaker, an order block, with a value gap, so lots of internal raise liquidity to be traded to. So here again, what will price do first in the week? Will it go from internal to external, from external to internal? That's up to the market to decide, so that's why I will be eagerly waiting on Monday what price will do. Then let's take a look at EURUSD-CAD. And EURUSD-CAD, we have this very clear buy side currently resting. See all these swing highs is a buy side liquidity pool. And if we look at the current PD arrays, we went from internal raise liquidity to external raise liquidity. It took out this high, and now we have basically 2 point of interest right now. We have this weekly fair value gap, and we have the buy side liquidity. So in an ideal situation, I would see on Monday to the weekly fair value gap, and then trade the rest of the week towards the buy side. So when price comes here early in the week, I will go to lower time frame to hunt for a setup. It can also tap into this weekly fair value gap and just see at the lower time frame what price does. If it's reacting, it gives that entry setup. But the main drawn liquidity will be this buy side liquidity. And why is there a future contract right here from Canadian dollar here? I want to show you what the current bias is for CAD pairs, Canadian pairs. And as you can see, it's clear downside. We have this sharp turn right here. And we see more downside coming in, take all these lows out, I expect. So if we anticipate the Canadian dollar to go to the downside, all the CAD pairs will go up. So the long biases are very strong. That's why I say Canadian dollar, the low-hanging fruit will be this high and this highs and the buy side liquidity pool at the end. And if you, for example, take a look at GBP CAD, also on the weekly, same story. We have a weekly fair value gap. So longs are favorable for GBP CAD. And if we take a look at the 4 hour, for example, we already took out liquidity. So we had a clear external to internal move already. And now what I would like to see, we have a small 4 hour value gap, but I'm going to just hunt for longs towards the weekly value gap this week and see if the market gives us that. Then to AUD CAD, not too much to work with, but we have a internal range to external range liquidity move. So low hanging fruit is this swing high and also this swing high. So lots of buy side resting. And when we anticipate Canadian dollar to go down, the Canadian pairs will go up. So this is also a strong bias. And go to the 1 hour. We can look for, okay, do we see displacement upwards? Do we see the market structure supporting that to go higher? Take a lower time frame entry from this point. Then we have GBP NZD. And this pair is more for later in the week. We just traded to the weekly for value gap. And now we have basically two choices. First choice is we trade here and take out this high, trade towards it high, or we get a move from this fair value gap back to that fair value gap. So let's see around Tuesday, Wednesday, which side is likely going to, and then take an entry towards one of these liquidity pools. Then let's go to Canadian Swiss franc. This was the swing setup I was talking about in last week's weekly outlook. I said we are supporting all these PD arrays, all these discount arrays, I must say, very nicely. And at the start of last week, on Monday the 18th, I was like, hey, we are inside this daily fair value gap. And with all these premium arrays waiting for us, this could get a nice swing entry towards this buy side liquidity, and it already left off a little bit. So probably going to look for longs for Canadian Swiss franc with low hanging fruit this daily fair value gap and these equal highs resting as the end of the line. Then the GPY pairs. Most of the GPY pairs already moved big time. We had a big down move as expected. We had a 4-hour market maker sell model on the yen basket, on the yen pair. So this means higher prices for all the GPY pairs. And we still have some liquidity resting for GBP, GPY. So what I would like to see is price trades for low hanging fruits to this high. So you could, for example, see from here back to the monthly value gap, or we go straight through. But higher price for GBP, GPY is on the cards for me. If you go to the daily, for example, to see if we can frame a trade around it, we do. We have this daily for value gaps already traded to it. So if we see a lower time frame structure to the upside, it's a lower hanging fruit trade from here to the upside. You can easily get a 1 to 3 trade from this point on. Then for Euro GPY, this is a pair I discussed with the Discord community. This is a tricky one. We are currently inside a monthly fair value gap right here. And then you have basically two options what can happen. Or it will go through the fair value gap towards the highs, or it will reject from the top and go lower. And when you have two options, I'm kind of hesitant. So I would want to wait for one to happen. For example, if you go to the lower time frame, you have this fair value gap is key this week. So if this daily fair value gap is holding, you have an easy trade to the upside. But if you see price closing below this fair value gap, most likely you will see these lows all get target. So gun to my head for GPY is higher prices towards these high, but please make sure this daily fair value gap is still valid, as this will be the backbone support with this high probability order block to determine if this is a high probability long or not. So earlier this week, look at this fair value gap. And this is it for this week. Not too many pairs. We're approaching the month's close, and we're not so many red followers waiting for us. So small week, lots of opportunities still. If you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. Currently busy with the 2024 mentorship here on YouTube. New videos for the mentorship on Tuesdays and Fridays, and on Sunday, the weekly outlook. Good luck trading this week, and I will see you in the next one.